Hi, I'm Sarah Hayden. I'm here at WJOP Open Studios, and I'm speaking with Penny Lazarus of the Newburyport Choral Society, who works very closely with Brian Greenberg, the media director. Welcome, Penny.
Thank you very much. And Brian would be here if he wasn't traveling this
I know,
summer.
he's in Europe or something?
He had been. He had been in Amsterdam.
Nice.
I'm not sure where he is now, but I was also in Europe, in Prague
nice.
and Albania, and we had trouble,
I recall that email going back and forth trying to figure out who's going to be here.
Where, right.
Yes, right. And this was a timely effort because the Choral Society has a summer free sing coming up. So we wanted to coordinate that with your registration and also with a Met concert finals that we're playing on Saturday the 24th. So
exactly.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the free concert or the free summer sing?
So the summer sing is in 2 weeks. Tuesday, August 27th at 7 o'clock.
I know, it's next Tuesday. Can you believe it?
Next Tuesday,
Right.
right. And it's held at the beautiful Annunciation Greek Orthodox Church here in Newburyport at 7 Harris Street.
Wonderful.
And if you've never been inside that church, it's just beautiful. It's just a big enough congregational space that the acoustics are terrific to listen to music, and you can see the soloists so well. It's like as if you're just a couple feet in front of them. And they have traditional Greek Orthodox paintings, Byzantine-style paintings. It's just a lovely room to be in.
Oh, beautiful. I have been there for different events, but I have not sung in that room. And now...
And it's air-conditioned.
Oh, that's a plus. I had in the past done the summer sing when it was, let me think, in... just different very hot spots around the community. Just like the central
congregational
something.
Church.
Oh,
right.
Really just sweating. But it was always nice and fun. And I read you're doing excerpts from the Lord Nelson Mass
by Hayden, and it's a wonderful piece. If you don't know it, don't hesitate to still come. You can come and just be a listener.
Yeah.
You can come and sing. This is a time where you don't have to have any affiliation with the Newburyport Choral Society, although the Newburyport Choral Society hosts it. So we get singers from choirs all over the state, people who are visiting their families during the week, singers from Boston. If you've never sung in a chorus before, still come and you can sit among everybody else and listen. If you don't have a copy of the score, there will be a few extras there to pick up. And
Nice.
There's also information for the first time to download the score to an iPad if you like. I sing from my iPad all the time.
Oh, do you?
I do. I love working that way with the score. So
Really? Do you use that during your regular rehearsals?
I do.
Really?
Rehearsals and performance.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it has performance mode, so nothing will ring or go off.
Yeah, that would be irritating, huh? They'd be looking right at Penny. Do a lot of people do that?
No, I'm the only one so far.
How interesting.
But in other choruses, it's very common, especially in small professional groups.
Yeah.
You'll see, like Skylark often sings here in Newburyport. And 2 of their members will be the soloists for the Lord Nelson Mass, Haydn's Lord Nelson Mass in a week. They almost all sing from iPads.
Oh,
It makes the turning pages quiet and easier. And it's backlit, so you can see so very well.
Can you enlarge it?
It comes full screen.
Yeah, but if you have for vision, could you make it?
You could, but then it might make turning the pages a little awkward. But it's if you have it long ways, horizontally, not vertically. Vertically, not horizontally.
Yeah.
I'm always spatially challenged. You see one full page at a time, so it's actually bigger than working with a regular score.
Can you make notation on there?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
There are.
I'm so fascinated with this.
Yeah.
I guess because I haven't seen anyone doing that at the different concerts that I've been to.
So at the Summer Sing next Tuesday, there might be a few more people with their iPads because for the first time, the Choral Society is making the score downloadable.
I see. So they would go to the Choral Society website, and then you can download it from there.
You can download the score from there if you don't own it.
Because some people may not know, but you have to have the rights to use the music. Right, you have to purchase the rights. Mhm.
Except that this piece is so old, it's in the public domain.
Oh, nice.
So contemporary pieces are copyright issue sensitive.
So that just is a nice segue into membership in the Choral Society, and the fact that you do have a fee that covers the music, the dues, and I think I read that you get 2 tickets for the concert with the membership. I think that's what it says.
Well, it's membership plus you
have
are
to buy
asked to purchase 2 tickets.
I see. I don't know if it's
ahead of
that
time.
clear. Okay, I'm going to have to reread that. But nonetheless.
Nonetheless, it's not expensive.
No, it's not.
It really isn't.
And you can do it semester by semester if you want, which
Exactly.
it can be helpful, particularly if you don't want to sing one semester or the other for work reasons. But I did.
Right.
So why don't you talk a little bit about membership and where people can get the information, or if they're interested in joining, what they would do.
Right, because the Summer Sing next week is often a lead into, a new membership drive.
Yes.
And to encourage past singers to come and sign up for the year, or new singers to join us. So you can go to the Newburyport Choral Society website. And all the information is there for the very first 2 rehearsals, September 10th and 17th. The rehearsals start at 7:15. This year, everything will be led by our wonderful music director, Dr. George Case. We're at the Belleville Congregational Church on High Street, but over in the parish hall. No worries, you'll see lots of people, going into the doors.
When I exit here at 8 o'clock, because I live on the street right past, it's Ross and I turn on, so I'm like, I drive by, Choral Society.
Right,
It's
it's
just
Choral
all Choral
Society
Society, yeah.
Right.
And it's Tuesdays. It used to be Mondays. Forever it was on Mondays.
And now it's Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And the rehearsals start at 7:15. They go to about 9:30. But for the first 2 weeks, it's kind of an open rehearsal. So you can come, borrow the music, rehearse with us for 2 sessions, and then decide if you would like to sign up. So please do think about coming and giving it a try. It's going to be a wonderful year. If you want to come you can register online, but if you're new and just want to register in person, come at about 6:30. We start rehearsals at 7:15, but that'll give you enough time to get the music and to sign up and meet a few people.
Yeah, and how many people are what's the membership now, 100 or?
Well, it varies from semester to semester, but we're usually now around 130.
Wow.
140 singers.
So what's the largest altos has to be? Is that the largest section?
The altos we tend to be.
And you're the section leader, so you're ruling the largest, what do you want to call it, quadrant?
Quadrant of the choir, except that we're divided into alto
so
1 and alto 2.
Wow.
So I'm just,
you
a sixth of the choir.
So you section leader for the first or the seconds?
I'm a first, right.
Yeah.
I usually am very comfortable singing on the high side of the alto line, so I always try to keep it a secret from George. Like, don't move me over into the sopranos. Keep me right where I am. I love the altos.
Yeah, it'd be rough to have to sing soprano if you're singing alto. I guess if you're singing, first alto, you can move over there to second soprano.
You can, because there's actually not a lot of difference between one part or another. Maybe just a few comfort notes.
Yeah, comfort notes.
But if if you've been attending for a while, and George always talks about how to use the voice well and properly, you can usually slide around from part to part, but. I love being an alto because I love singing the harmonies.
Yeah.
And I think then that's where really inside the choral voice.
Yeah.
And that's what choral singers love to do.
Yeah.
We love to make all of our voices blend as if we're one group.
Yeah, that is something that is fun. So I read online that it's the 85th season, which is
really exciting. 85th anniversary. You think about things, how short television shows are these days, or the lifetime of a popular piece of music or a fad or a restaurant. And here this choral group has been going on for 85 years. It's actually, there's been parts of it that have gone much longer, and we're considered one of the oldest choral groups in the country.
That's amazing.
But
yeah.
as the Newburyport Choral Society, it's 85 years.
Yeah.
So even that's so significant.
So I read that in the fall season, it will be British and European traditional type music. And then in the spring, in addition to that, there'll also be Mendelssohn's Elijah.
Right, which is every choral singer's dream.
Yeah.
So if you want to sing Mendelssohn's Elijah,
Trying to lure me back again.
here is a little bit of forewarning. Register early.
Yeah.
Because it may eventually close out, because we
Really?
only have so much practice space in Belleville Church.
Now you're really toying with me, aren't you, Penny? I know what's going on here.
Brian is one of my instructions from Brian. Was
You know
to
what
get you
happens,
to
though, and
sing.
I don't know, like, when you don't sing for a long time, your voice gets very weak. I mean, it is a muscle.
It is a
just gets
muscle.
very, it's unpleasant to even sing now for myself. I find it really awful because it just has no control, which is was never the case. But in the last maybe like 6 years, I just noticed a real decline. And I know singing is obviously the answer, but oh God, I pity who I'd sing next to. It's really awful.
Oh, no worries, because it is a muscle. It does come back, just like any exercise. Mm-hmm. And the beginning of the year, the warm-up time is extended, so everybody does get back in shape.
And I have been looking at these, and Choral Society may have some suggestions for these types of things, different warm-up apps and things like that you can vocalize to certain
There's
apps.
wonderful, and that's what the section leaders do. Mm-hmm. Is we'll send out suggestions of what to do, and if you were in my section, I'd be aware of what your needs are, and then I can address that.
Mm-hmm. What I was going to talk about was we are going to be broadcasting the Metropolitan Opera National Council auditions on Saturday at 1 o'clock as sort of a little part of bringing people together with this idea of singing and also listening to opera, which our season, well, we are playing the Met Opera season, which starts December 7th. So there's still a little bit of time, but this is a real privilege to be able to play this wonderful music and have the opportunity to play it in our community. So we'll hopefully I'll get a press release out. The Met is just unbelievable with what they provide. They provide all these press releases and cue sheets and all sorts of stuff that help us make the production on our end as professional as we can, because they have such amazing productions on their own. They just want the standards to be up there for everybody who's doing it. So that will be at 1 o'clock. I think it's about a 2-hour, or it's within a 2-hour time period. Maybe, I'm not exactly sure, but it will play straight through. I think there's no breaks and there's no sponsor things or anything like that. I think Mary Jo Heath does a little announcement at the beginning, but I'm looking forward to hearing her voice actually on Saturday the 24th.
If you haven't listened to one of the Met audition broadcasts, they're fabulous.
Yeah.
I was privileged this spring to attend the semifinals.
Wow.
For the Northeast quadrant of the country. And it's just unbelievable. The singers at all levels, they're breathtaking.
Yeah.
And you always privately want to vote to see who's going to be selected to go on to the next level. And the person that we were just astounded by, not only her technique, but her acting ability. And that they're not always chosen by their acting ability, but this year that seemed to be number one. And not only did she win the semifinals, the person that we really fell in love with, but she's here as she won the final auditions.
That's awesome.
And she's from Boston Conservatory, and her name is Michaela Volz.
Wow.
And she's just so talented
24.
and mesmerizing.
That's unbelievable.
24 years old.
24 is young.
Yeah.
Wow. So she's a mezzo-soprano. Very nice. I look forward to hearing that. So they sing the pieces that they did? I'm not exactly sure.
They have their audition pieces that they sing at each level. But then the finalists were studying in New York for a little while, so she may then sing something that she studied at the Met.
I see, and they each win $15,000,
Yeah.
and then they also have some for the four finalists that receive like $7,500, which is still a real honor. I mean, I just love the Met. I've been there to the operas, and it's just so grand and so amazing. It's something everybody should experience, and I'm not sure if people realize that they do have this ability now to see it in the theater. They have HD Live. So,
Right.
For example, my girlfriend, whose mother was an opera singer, I think she's 88 now, but she would sing at the Met, and she'd sing at Alice Tully Hall, and we'd go in and watch her. But one of the operas I always remember seeing her posters in their den was Porgy and Bess. And anyway, they're doing Porgy and Bess, but they're doing it's actually pretty long run. And then on February 1st, they're doing it in HD. So we could actually meet in like Danbury or something where my girlfriends we're all sort of trying to collaborate and figure out where we could listen to it. It's very cool. I have not seen the opera in the cinema. Have you?
I have, and it's really exciting. It's just very close spatial views that you wouldn't see when you would normally have a ticket in the back of the
opera glasses, like squinting.
Opera, right, and using your opera glasses and things like that. So you really get a chance to see how the actors are manipulating the set and see the emotion on their face while they're singing. So it's just excellent.
Yeah, it's very theatrical. I know we have quite a theater department here in Newburyport, and of course, they're not going to undertake an opera, but just talking about the sets and, regular theater in a high school, and then looking at opera. Opera is very interesting because it is theater in music.
It's theater with music.
It's just such an amazing thing, and it has, I think, a little bit of a resurgence. I do have the opera magazine here. If anybody's interested and they want to borrow it, they're welcome to. I usually have 2 copies because I think I'm a member, and then some other reason I joined some other aspect, but I get 2 copies of the magazine, and it really does seem geared more towards younger, I think. Maybe it's just I'm getting older and everyone's looking younger. I'm not sure, but they've really done a nice job of laying it out so it's very appealing. And I'd like to think that it's classical music and opera are more coming back than leaving, because they're just so important as part of the music culture.
Seems to be. I was able to talk to one of the judges when I was at the semifinals, just happened to be in the hallway with him, and remarked about how the people that he was choosing to win the semifinals were very effective actors.
Yeah.
And so that's also a change.
Yeah.
100 years ago opera singers just stood still and and belted, and that's not true anymore. They're expected to tell the story.
It's interesting because, in these programs like the reality, what are they called? Like America's Got Talent is the one I think is the one I'm thinking of. And I try to catch it when I can because I just like the stage, the performance, what people are doing. But there's a couple of very young opera singers. I mean, one was a very young girl, but it's astonishing. You just think, oh my God, this is just like their future, obviously, is opera. But it's like a calling.
Right.
It's very interesting.
But to bring it back, we can bring this back to the Summer Sing because Haydn's Lord Nelson Mass is an oratorio.
Yes.
Which is like opera, except without the movement on stage. But the expression and the theatricality of the music is still there. And the soloists, the 4 soloists that you can hear in a week from today at the Greek Annunciation Church on Harris Street in Newburyport are equally as trained and exciting as any of the Met audition winners. In fact, this oratorio has an amazing soprano part, and I like to call her our Sarah Moyer.
Nice.
She sings in professional ensembles all over the country.
Wow.
Santa Fe Desert Chorale and Sephardic Fire. But she also sings with Skylark. And we have a connection with Skylark because George Case, our music director, sings with Skylark.
Oh, nice.
So they've been bringing their concerts up to Newburyport.
Oh, that's very...
And we've heard,
lucky.
we know Sarah,
Yeah.
and her voice is exquisite. And the soprano part in the Lord Nelson Mass is just amazing. You'll be in for a treat if you come just to hear her and Dana Whiteside, who's a bass with Skylark Ensemble, and the other 2 soloists.
Sounds lovely. I did see that Dr. Case has his undergraduate in vocal performance, which is nice.
He's equally as gifted a singer as he is a conductor. In fact, it seems classical singing is making this huge resurgence in the form of small professional vocal groups. And there's a number of them now. They're all excellent. The training is just wonderful coming out of conservatories. And almost every singer does conducting, or every conductor studies an instrument.
Yeah.
It's, everyone is sort of working across boundaries these days, which makes them even stronger as musicians.
Right.
So that's why when you do attend the Newburyport Choral Society rehearsals and sing in the concert, every rehearsal is like getting a mini vocal lesson from
nice.
George, because he is a singer.
Yeah, and I do know they also have a very talented accompanist.
Kirsten.
Yeah, who's
Hegeland.
also a doctor of music,
Of music.
and musicology, which is amazing to have that quality of, talent and ability.
Right. Exactly. She's unique.
Yeah, she was. I did read she was a professor at Gordon, which is an amazing place to learn music. Some people may not know, but they have quite a good music department there. I don't know if people
They
know
do.
about that. It's
In
really,
fact, the tenor soloist for the Lord Nelson Mass is a professor at Gordon College and a conductor.
Nice.
And a singer. His name is Jamie Hillman.
nice.
So I think this is the first time he'll be singing with the Choral Society, so I'm looking forward
Well,
to hearing it.
that is, will lure some people there, because it is like a free concert.
It is.
If they just want to sit and listen, then you have surround sound with the singers, and you can get a
Right.
close-up view of the soloist.
And it's a very casual, summer sings, many choruses do summer sings. They're very casual. And George will intersperse the movements with talking about the piece. And the
that's
piece is
good.
really very interesting because it was, Haydn was commissioned to write it just when Napoleon had succeeded in beating the Austrian army in 4 decisive battles. And it was called originally a Mass for Troubled Times.
Oh, interesting.
It was a very tense time. Vienna was under the threat of being taken over by Napoleon's army. So when Haydn wrote this composition, it's his only Mass that starts out in a minor key.
Oh,
in the key of
interesting.
D minor.
Oh, you're luring me there.
And then they took out all of the woodwind parts because his patron, the Esterhazy family, Prince Esterhazy, wanted those musicians to fight at the front.
Oh dear.
So they were sent off to battle. And just as the piece premiered, the Austrians under Lord Nelson won a very decisive victory.
Wow.
That turned the war and saved Austria. So later it became known as the Lord Nelson Mass. And Lord Nelson did hear it. He met Haydn. And
Well, that's a very cool story.
Isn't that a cool story?
Did the woodwinds come back?
I hope so by then. Well, no, I don't know. Actually, I think it ended up just being scored for brass and the strings. So it has a very bright, victorious, malicious sound to it, which is still fitting the time that it was written for.
Well, this has been a wonderful conversation. I love hearing about music, and you have a lot of knowledge about music and stories, which I think makes it so interesting.
Well, George will have more next Tuesday night at 7.
Well, for people who are interested in getting more information about the Choral Society, there is the website. Is it spelled out? Newburyport Choral Society .org, and they have all the information there about what they're singing, who's on the board, who's doing what you can do, how to join. And I think they even have some past excerpts of what you've done.
They do.
It's on there.
And you can get the history.
Yep. And then, so the 27th is next week at the Greek Orthodox Church. If you're interested in participating in that summer sing in any way that you've heard us talk about. And registration, of course, is early in the fall. So
on September 10th and 17th.
After 10th, those Tuesday nights.
After Labor Day.
So is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up?
Just that, what we're singing in December. So that if you do come to join the Choral Society
that's a good thing
to
to know.
sing with us, it is a celebration of 6 centuries of brass and organ
Oh, nice.
holiday music.
Wow.
and George has, as he always does, these programs tell their own story. So each half of the program will begin with a Italian Renaissance composer, Gabrielli, but then followed by 20th century or 21st century contemporary selections using the same words. Composers have used the same text as this Renaissance composer, but set now in very beautiful and celebratory
And
ways
of course,
for the holiday.
there's the most beautiful organ there at the Belleville.
There is.
So
there is.
That
And then we're
is
also
amazing.
right. And then we're also singing with the GNCC, the Greater Newburyport Children's Chorus, and Rudder's Gloria, which is well known, and then all of your favorite carols.
Sounds wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us here on WJOP LP 96.3 Newburyport.
It's always a pleasure to be here with you, Sarah.
Thank you.